We got action back at Owings Mills, and I'm here to talk about it, break it all down, because we had a weekend that was very busy with some rookie mini camp action. We finally got to see all the draft picks, all the UDFAs rocking their purple, white, and gold. And I don't know about you guys, but it got me jacked up for some 2025 NFL football coming up in September. Before we break down the winners and the losers from rookie mini camp, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because we are battling the Chiefs report for the entirety of the month of May. And while we're only 5 days through it, we're in a nice little lead. We got a long way to go. Let's try to run up the score as early as we can. You need to lock us in right now for everyday coverage. Helps you guys stick with the team, stick by the channel. Also helps us put the Chiefs report down just a little bit. We're starting with the winners, and we are starting with the first round selection, number 27 overall pick. That's Malaki Starks. Everything I heard from him this past weekend, whether it was on the football field or him in the press conference, it just sounds like this dude's already winning, right? He's already winning in his time as a Baltimore Raven. Jeff Zreback tweeted this out yesterday afternoon, said Raven safety Malaki Starks broke down the huddle today and said it was an honor that he doesn't take lightly. Starks is a leader. Starks is a player. And everything I've heard from him, every press conference clip, every clip of him on the field, it just seems like he's a guy who just gets it. He gets how to be a teammate. He gets how to excel in the sport of football. And he's just such a well-rounded athlete, well-rounded player, well-rounded kid. Okay? Everything that he's got going for him, we see it right here in Baltimore. Breaking down the huddle, leading on the defense, leading in this rookie class. It's exactly what you want to see out of the guy that you drafted in the first round. You couldn't want anything more, right? He went on to say in his press conference, I love winning. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for these vets to come back. He's already ready for some more pads to be out there on the field. Said he wants to be a sponge around veterans, has already texted with Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton. Again, everything you could want from your first round selection, he's doing it, okay? Kyle Hamilton, Roquan Smith, he's already reached out to them. They've already reached out to him. They've been texting back and forth. He wants to be a sponge. He wants to learn more. He's coming in with a humility about him, but also with a drive and a desire to excel at this next level. And if he continues that commitment, as he's shown through the first 2 days of minicamp, his first 48 hours on a football field, a Ravens uniform, I think we can expect really, really big things from Malaki Starks. The second winner of today is Mike Green. Goes with the theme, as we should say. Mike Green spoke for the first time on the podium since he was a Baltimore Raven. They didn't do the press conference that they usually do for their second and third round selections, their day 2 picks, because of everything in his past that he has faced. But he came and he spoke, he answered questions, and he faced it head on. Here's what Mike Green had to say. Every team has asked me, and I've been completely open about everything. And it is something that I had to go through. And I got through it. Like I said, at this point forward, I'm just focused on moving on with my career with Baltimore. I'm blessed to be here. It's an honor. And like I said, I'm glad to see what the future might hold for me. The one thing I love about how Mike Green has handled everything that's happened with him is he's faced it head on. And I think that's not only going to be a benefit for him in his football career, but just as he learns how to deal with the media as a professional football player. When you are a top-of-the-line player in the SEC for a team like Texas, a team like Georgia, a team like Ohio State, Michigan, you learn how to deal with the media. You do it constantly. You do it at a national level. When you're a really good player for a team like Marshall, you don't really learn how to deal with the media as much, okay? So he's coming in here, now into the NFL, was a second-round pick, had first-round talent, and he's not only learning how to deal with being an NFL player with a past that has troubled him, but also how to deal with media, okay? And he's facing it head-on. He's answering questions. He's not dodging anything, and he's focused on moving forward. I think that's going to be a great benefit to him. Also, additionally, he just looked great out there on the field. Okay, I don't love the number selection with 45. I'm not going to get too into that. But seeing him out there running through drills, going up against the other rookie tackles like Carson Vincent, seeing how fast his hands move, seeing how quick he is, seeing how good he looks in that Ravens uniform, Man, that just gets me excited. Don't be shy. Let me know in the comment section down below. I want you to name a winner from rookie minicamp, okay? I've named 2 already. Got 3 more to go. It's your turn right now. Let's talk about a guy we haven't talked about in a long time. He was a very common topic of discussion in August. Let's just say that. Dayton Wade, the wide receiver, last year spent time on the practice squad. Jeff Zreback wrote up an entire report on everything and every note he took from this past week of rookie minicamp, and this is how he ended it. He said wide receiver Dayton Wade, who spent last season on the Ravens practice squad, was the star of Sunday's practice, making several big plays. And the reason that Dayton Wade is such a winner is because they drafted LeJontay Wester in the 6th round. Those are 2 very, very similar players. Wade already had to battle for a starting spot this last year. Obviously, he didn't get it. He spent his time on the practice squad. But now with a year under his belt in the National Football League, they draft a guy, like I said, very similar to him, the exact same height, just 1 year younger, 40 times, 0.02 seconds off, 4-inch difference in the broad jump. Now, Wade is 20 pounds heavier, so that's going to be to his benefit. But now you look at those 2 guys, and you kind of think with the small wide receiver that Zay Flowers already is, there's not spot for both of them on this roster. And if Dayton Wade was the star of Sunday's practice, making multiple big plays, then he's easily a winner on this list. Let's keep in the wide receiver room. Let's talk about Zay Flowers. Now, Zay Flowers was not in attendance for rookie minicamp. Neither were any of the other veterans, because that's not what that weekend is about. But it doesn't mean he didn't get some good news as well. John Harbaugh spoke to the media and said that Zay Flowers never needed surgery on the knee injury he sustained at the end of last season, and that he should be ready to go for OTAs later this month. Okay? Regardless of anything that he wasn't doing on the football field this past weekend, he is a winner because it's obvious that although the knee injury was serious enough to keep him out of the playoff games, it wasn't serious enough that it needed surgery, and he should be right on schedule at the end of this month to continue practicing. The last one, Nash Hutmacher, the defensive tackle out of Nebraska. I've been a big fan of this guy ever since he was announced with the UDFA class, but there was an interesting little bit of wrinkle that was thrown out. Jeff Zreback tweeted this yesterday and said, Nebraska nose tackle, Nash Hutmacher, not listed among UDFA signings, but he is participating in minicamp. So they released a rookie roster earlier. He wasn't on it. Everyone kind of started freaking out, myself included, because I love this guy. And then you see him right there, practicing out there in the purple and white. And I think that if he has a good enough minicamp, if he has a good enough training camp, if he proves to everybody what I think he's capable of doing at his size and at the position he plays, that's a massive area of need for Baltimore, he could easily make this roster. Let's wrap it up with a little bit more on minicamp before we move on to the losers. They got 30 tryout guys participating in the minicamp. That includes Braden Shager, the quarterback out of Hawaii, and Colin Schlee, another quarterback as well. So they're getting a little bit of competition. In reality, it's probably just going to be Lamar Jackson and Cooper Rush at the roster when it comes to roster cut-down day. How are we feeling? Are you ready for the 2025 season? If you are, make sure to let me know by liking today's video, okay? Cast your vote in that way by hitting the thumbs up button. Ever since I saw some guys back with I guess they didn't have pads on, with the helmets on, catching balls, doing drills, got me really excited for some football. So let me know if you agree with me. Coming up, we got losers, okay? 3 minicamp losers we're going to talk about. We're going to break it down, and then we're going to get on out of here. But before we get on out of here, make sure that if you guys do get on out of here, don't do it before clicking chatsports.com/Starks. That's going to get you to Fanatics. That's going to get you his beautiful jersey right here. If you love Malaki Starks as much as I do, if you are as excited for him in this next season with the Baltimore Ravens, you'll go get that jersey and you'll rock it all season long because I got a feeling this guy's going to be a mainstay in Baltimore for a really long time. Thank you so much to our friends at Fanatics for supporting today's video. Chatsports.com/Starks is where you got to go. Get them fast because they're flying off the shelves. Of course, you're going to be able to find that link in the comments and description of today's video as well. Losers. First up, Emery Jones Jr., the third-round selection, offensive tackle in college. Many think he's going to make the shift to guard in the NFL out of LSU. John Harbaugh spoke to the media, like I said earlier, and he said that third-round tackle Emery Jones is dealing with a labrum issue, so a shoulder issue. They aren't going to push it with him. He probably won't play until training camp. The Ravens signed veteran tackle Joseph Noteboom this weekend as a swing tackle. And I'm going to be honest with you, I thought that Emery Jones probably had a chance to compete for a starting spot in year one with Daniel Faalele or Andrew Voorhees. However, if he's not going to practice until training camp, if he's going to miss the first half of this summer, getting rehab, getting healthy, which, by the way, if you got a labrum issue, it's a good thing he's missing this first half of minicamp and first half of the summer. You got to get healthy. You got to get well. But I think that's going to hurt him when it comes to starting this year. Now, I don't think the plan ever when drafting him was for him to be a starting left guard this next year. I think he is a contingency plan, and he's a future plan for next year. But still, many people, myself included, thought if he came out and he showed out and showed up Andrew Voorhees or Daniel Faalele, he could earn a starting role, and I don't think he's going to anymore after that injury news. Excuse me. This one leaves me speechless. Justin Tucker is our next Ravens minicamp loser. You got to see Tyler Loop out there draining field goals on the practice field. The first time there's been some intrigue around the kicker position in this franchise for a very long time, and John Harbaugh spoke to that and what it looks like in the future. You have a rookie kicker here. You took him early in the 6th round. He's a talented guy from a football standpoint. Salary cap and all the different things that you just take into consideration. Whatever we decide to do over the next few weeks will be based on football. And while that quote might seem like Justin Tucker might be a winner, right? They're going to make this decision based on football. Salary cap is a very big word in that quote. If he hadn't mentioned salary cap, then I think I'd put Justin Tucker on this winners list. But because he did, because that came out of his mouth, it proves that that's something they're looking at and thinking about. Now, we knew that was going to be the case because it's hard not to look at a $4.2 million number. And that's what Baltimore would save if they cut Justin Tucker post-June 1st. $4.2 million. If Tyler Loop shows out, like he has been so far, according to Gianna Hahn, saying that he made all of his field goals at practice. He's got a very big leg. They were impressed by his process as well. If he continues to impress, then Baltimore might really not even need to hear from the investigation. I think they're going to wait until that's over. I think they should. But if he's impressing, and they're also thinking about the salary cap aspect of it, I don't know how much longer Justin Tucker is going to be on this roster. Be honest with me down below. What will happen with Justin Tucker? What do you think? Does he get traded? Does he get cut? Or do they keep him? You let me know in the comment section down below. All right, let's end this one up with Trenton Simpson. Now, this isn't really necessarily anything about Trenton Simpson directly because, like Zay Flowers, he wasn't at rookie minicamp. However, when you take into account that they drafted a linebacker in the 4th round, they brought in 2 talented UDFAs, and those guys, Teddy Buchanan, Jay Higgins, Chandler Martin, all of those guys I was seeing all over on Twitter this past weekend had really good weekends. It tells you a lot about their trust level, and it might tell you a little bit about what the future might hold for Trenton Simpson. I think that everything about him at the end of the season, 5 snaps last 4 weeks of the season, or 15 snaps last 4 weeks of the season, that showed me enough. But then what they've done so far and how those draft picks and UDFAs have been performing over the past weekend, I think Trent Simpson might have I don't want to say tough road to start ahead of him, but he's going to have some competition, which I think is going to be a good thing. Make sure you guys subscribe before you get on out of here. Appreciate you guys for tuning in on today's episode of the Ravens Rundown. We'll see you next time.